This is the story of my rescue dove named Soap. Initially, I wanted to introduce all my birds at once to you guys, but I figured, especially with Soap, that they all could do with their own stories. It was a regular night on the 5th of January 2018. I had just finished a tiring day of school, and my mom had come to pick me up so we'd go to dinner together. She told me that just a few hours prior, she'd received a call from someone we knew who knows that I love birds and take care of them. They'd been cleaning their roof gutter and found a nest of baby birds and didn't know what to do with them. So either we picked them up or they'd be left for the stray cats on their pavement next to the garbage. The thing was, even before this incident, I told myself I didn't want any more birds from the 3 I already had, at least not for the moment, because there was a very important school project I had going on at that time, and that also decreased the time I could spend with the birds I already had at home. I would be spending my days till 11 PM at the school, though thankfully, as a 2D artist for the project, the finishing workload shifted to the 3D people, and I could come to school much later in the day. So eventually we picked the nest up that night at around 10 to 11 PM and discovered these nestlings were squabs. Squabs are what you call baby pigeons or doves. There were 2 of them, and they were near featherless and their eyes were hardly opened. I'd only ever raised parrots before, so this was somewhat new to me. See, different birds feed differently because of the way their beaks are, like how parrots had hooked bills, while doves and pigeons have straighter beaks. You could also just shove a feeding syringe down their throats, but I never liked feeding them that way. It took a bit of researching the first few hours, but eventually I knew what to do. For the first few nights, I kept them in a new, fresh, clean Tupperware. I'd removed the nest to avoid any mishaps with mites, as many baby doves tend to succumb to mites and pass in their early days. Then I'd come back every 2 to 3 hours to refill a packet of warm water I'd placed under them. A lamp was on 24/7 overhead to keep them warm as well. It all went great for the first 2 days. The 3rd day came, and the bigger chick started to have visible problems getting air out of its crop. It couldn't really burp per se. I would gently massage it out, and it worked, but the issue kept returning. I remember the day well. I'd left for school and came back around 4 PM. It was raining really heavily, and I came back to the stiff body of the chick. Dove mortality is actually quite high if you do the research, so I wasn't too surprised, but I still cried after running out to lay its body under some bushes in the soil in the pouring rain. I remember feeling so bitter at that point that I had not much of a choice in taking them, as it was a life or death decision, and that I could have never needed to feel this way. But coming back to see the smaller chick now alone, I was determined to see it to adulthood, even more than I already had been. I'd see to it every 30 minutes for the next whole month, as long as I was home. Even at night, I would wake in 2 to 3 hour intervals to feed it and change the warm water even more frequently. I felt like a real parent. It was exhausting, but I never complained about the routine. There came a point it nearly faced the same air problem its sibling had, but it managed to pull through that. Thank goodness. The hard part was over, and the squab started to grow its feathers. He got greedy and always called out and wiggled its body vigorously for food. It was so ugly. The most cutest, ugly baby bird I have ever cared for. He looked like a pube-covered sack when he first came, and now that pube-covered sack had grown eyebrows, down, and feathers. He was adorable. He would be fed 5 to 6 times a day, and eventually it lessened to 3 times a day. He learned to eat seeds finally at one point, and as well as learn to get around the house and follow our feet. We had initially wanted to raise him to release him, but we realized how trusting he was of humans to the point you could nearly step on him and he would not care to move. He definitely is not capable of fending for himself even up to this day. Thus, we decided to keep him. I named him Soap because, well, he's a dove, and I found it to be short and cute. Also, of course, by this time, we confirmed his breed to be a zebra dove, or as the locals call it, murubok. He's one of the most treasured companions, and one of our most bonded birds. He likes getting frisky with your hands and feet. He also has a different coo for my mum and I, and greets us with the designated sound whenever he sees either of us. Right now, he's living a very comfy life and joins us on the bed while we watch TV and travels around the house wherever he pleases. He's a little more than 1.5 years old now as of this video, and I hope he stays with us for a very long time. If you made it this far in the vid, I just want to say thanks for sticking by. I honestly could go on and on about soap, but it would drag the video for a long while more. Be sure to give it a like if you enjoyed it. It lets me know if this sort of thing piques your fancy. Maybe give it a share as well. Have you guys had any experiences rescuing an animal that's become your pet? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to read your stories. Well, till next time.